Most people assume that when scientists declare a species extinct, they mean it's gone forever. But some of the creatures declared gone millions of years ago are still being reported by fishermen, by explorers, by indigenous communities who have lived alongside these animals for generations. These 7 animals were written off, but something keeps happening out there. The last one is already causing panic among sailors and fishermen. Number 7, Titanoboa. 60 million years ago, the largest snake that ever lived ruled the swamps of what is now Colombia. Titanoboa stretched over 13 meters long and weighed more than a ton. Nothing alive today comes close. Scientists say it vanished with the cooling of the planet, but the Amazon rainforest never fully cooled, and the reports never fully stopped. In 1907, British explorer Percy Fawcett shot a giant anaconda in the Bolivian jungle. He measured it at over 18 meters. No known anaconda grows that large. He sent his account to the Zoological Society of London. They didn't believe him. Since then, dozens of similar reports have come from remote stretches of the Amazon basin. Fishermen, guides, scientists on unrelated expeditions, all describing the same thing: a snake too large to exist. The Amazon is still largely unmapped, and Titanoboa didn't need much, just water, heat, and darkness. The next creature didn't need rivers. It moved through the deepest jungle on foot, upright, and the people who live there say it never left. Number 6, Mapingari. Deep in the Amazon, indigenous communities tell stories of a giant creature, tall as a bear, covered in thick red fur, walking upright with claws that can tear through trees. They call it the Mapingari. Scientists who heard these descriptions recognized something immediately. Every detail matches Megatherium, a giant ground sloth that lived in South America and went extinct roughly 10,000 years ago. Or so the official record says. Fossil evidence shows isolated populations survived far longer than the mainstream date suggests. In remote parts of Brazil and Bolivia, sightings continued well into the 20th century. In 2019, Brazilian researchers documented over 40 first-hand accounts from separate indigenous groups, all describing the same animal, same size, same claws, same smell. No two communities had ever spoken to each other, yet somehow, every detail of their stories matched. The next creature stood taller than any living primate on Earth, and the reports following it span 3 continents. Number 5, Gigantopithecus. 300,000 years ago, the largest primate that ever lived walked through the forests of Southeast Asia. Gigantopithecus stood over 3 meters tall and weighed close to 300 kilograms. It vanished from the fossil record around 100,000 years ago. But here's where things get complicated. From the Himalayas to the Pacific Northwest, reports of a massive upright ape have never stopped. The Yeti, Bigfoot, the Almas. Different names, different continents, the same basic description. Primatologist John Napier spent years studying these reports. His conclusion wasn't that they were all hoaxes. His conclusion was that something real was behind at least some of them. Gigantopithecus is the only known species that fits. Remote mountain ranges could hide a small surviving population easily. The question is whether anyone is seriously looking. The next animal on this list isn't hiding. Scientists know what happened to it, where to find its remains, and exactly how to bring it back. And they are doing it right now. Number 4, woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is supposed to have vanished 10,000 years ago. That's the version most people know. Here's the version they don't. An isolated population survived on Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean until just 3,700 years ago, while the Egyptian pyramids were already standing. Since then, explorers and indigenous Siberian communities have reported something enormous moving through the frozen wilderness. In 1918, a Canadian fur trader named Lohman tracked massive footprints across a remote Siberian valley and watched something large and dark-furred disappear into the tree line. That region has never been fully surveyed. Most of it remains unexplored. And in the permafrost, mammoth bodies so perfectly preserved they still contain blood have been recovered. Not bones, bodies. Something doesn't stay that intact for 10,000 years without a reason. The next on our list was actively hunted to extinction by government order, and it keeps showing up anyway. Number 3, thylacine. The last known thylacine died in a Hobart Zoo on September 7, 1936. Australia now marks that date as National Threatened Species Day. But since that night, over 4,000 sightings have been reported across Tasmania and mainland Australia. Most were dismissed. Not all. In 2016, a wildlife biologist captured thermal footage in Queensland showing a shape that moved like nothing native to that region. Long, stiff tail, distinctive banded markings. In 2019, researchers at James Cook University published a study identifying multiple regions in Australia where thylacines could realistically survive undetected. They said the possibility could not be ruled out. Some indigenous communities in remote Tasmania say they've always known that the animal never left. It just learned to avoid being seen. The thylacine that died in 1936 had a name, Benjamin. But maybe Benjamin wasn't the last one. Maybe he was just the last one they caught. The next one reportedly lives inside one of the most inaccessible ecosystems on Earth, and no outside expedition has ever fully crossed it. Number 2, Mokele Mbembe. The Congo River Basin is one of the least explored places on Earth. Its swamps stretch for hundreds of kilometers. No road reaches them. No satellite has fully mapped them. And for centuries, the indigenous people of Central Africa have described a creature living inside them. Enormous, long-necked, with a body like a hippo and a tail unlike any animal alive today. They call it Mokele Mbembe. The description has never changed. The earliest written accounts date to 1776, recorded by French missionaries. In 1980, biologist Roy Mackal led a full expedition into the region. Local guides refused to enter certain parts of the swamp. When shown illustrations of various animals, they pointed without hesitation to a sauropod dinosaur. Not a hippo, not a crocodile, a dinosaur. In 1992, a Japanese film crew captured footage of something large moving through a remote lake. Whatever it was, it appeared in no field guide. The last on our list had no such limitation. It ruled every ocean simultaneously for longer than most species last. Number 1. Megalodon. Megalodon was the largest predator that ever lived, 60 feet long, teeth the size of a human hand. It ruled every ocean on Earth for 20 million years before disappearing around 3.6 million years ago, or so the theory goes. The ocean covers 71% of the planet. More than 80% of it has never been explored. In 1875, researchers on the HMS Challenger expedition dredged up megalodon teeth from the ocean floor. The problem? The teeth showed almost no fossilization. Scientists dated them to less than 11,000 years old. In 1942, a naval submarine reported sonar contact with something enormous at extreme depth. That reading was later classified. In 1960, Australian fishermen hauled up a great white shark with half its body missing. The bite radius was 4 times larger than any known predator. Nobody followed up officially. Megalodon didn't need air to breathe. It needed only depth and darkness and time. The deep ocean still has both. The list doesn't stop here. Subscribe and we'll see you on our next video.